Okay, welcome everybody. I am thrilled to introduce our guest today, Nora Guerra, who is the single family affordable lending senior manager at Freddie Mac. With over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry, Nora is a passionate advocate for Latino housing equality and a champion for inclusive home ownership. Now, in our session today, Home to Inclusion, Latinx Impact on Company Culture and Success, Nora will share her inspiring journey, the challenges she's overcome, and her vision for advancing Latinx professionals in the financial sector. Now, Nora has a very impactful story to her journey, so we have a video to learn more about that. So let's take a look.
When I was 15 years old, my mom handed me the phone and she basically asked me, translate for me, something's going on with the bank. And as I was doing that, I started understanding I was negotiating an exit strategy on our home. It was being foreclosed. My mom is actually from Guadalajara, Mexico, and my family wanted that American dream. They wanted, to purchase a home, to come to America and have a little piece of land, that was really ours. Losing my, middle-class childhood home that I had grown up in was the big catalyst for me to come to the housing industry. Coming to Freddie Mac, I knew that their mission aligned with mine. And really, my story is that Freddie Mac story. It's that customer that I help. I look at immigrants into America and I see their hard struggles. I know that they want a better future in this country. Working at a company where you're passionate about what you do really equates a success story. For more information on careers at Freddie Mac, visit careers.freddiemac.com.
That is a really beautiful video. It is so wonderful to be here with you today. Thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am so excited to be here, as a matter of fact. I had to move a couple of travel trips just because I had to be here. I had to show up and represent for my Latinas that are watching this presentation.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, and I'm glad we could make it work. This is so great. So watching that, I have to say, just right out of the gate, I appreciate you sharing this so publicly. That's a very vulnerable, brave thing to do. Those are very personal details about your life.
Yeah. And what's interesting, as Latinos, we tend to hide or not share our story or our journey. And, as my career journey was evolving, I felt that I needed to be, a leader that was empathetic, not just to my community, but also to my colleagues, to my industry. I felt I represent so many Latinos in America as an immigrant woman. I was born in Guadalajara, Mexico. And, in the words of one of my favorite movies, Selena, I'm not too Mexican. I'm also not too American. Both societies, I'm not sure where I fit in, but I knew that I had to be a very impactful leader. And that video really shows that journey, that vulnerability of who I am, but also, can I tell you, it shows the beauty of why I work so hard in what I do at Freddie Mac, and that is helping provide access to credit for first-time home buyers, Latinos, minorities. I'm a subject matter expert at so many amazing things. And Freddie Mac saw and heard my story and gave me the platform to share it with everyone, and I have to tell you, the feedback was so positive. First-time home buyers, identified with it, Latinos, Latinas, even other ethnicities reached out and said, it's such a beautiful story. And I have to tell you, can you imagine growing up? It didn't feel so beautiful then, but when I mentioned 15 years old, that is when that issue happened in our life. And I feel that, it really connects with so many of us that, a cultural norm for Latinos is to purchase a home in America. And when you lose it, it's almost like you're losing hope. I remember that night when I got that phone call from the bank and I was crying in my bed and my mom came to comfort me. I told her, I don't know why I said this, But I told her I'm going to help Latinos to never lose their homes. You guys, did I know I was going to go into finance? Absolutely not. But can I tell you, arriving to Freddie Mac, my first day on the job, I was going up these amazing escalators at this amazing building in McLean, Virginia, and I knew I had arrived. I knew that all of my community was being represented because I had arrived to help advance homeownership for my community, for Latinos and Latinas, of course.
That is so beautiful. And you were 15 when you said that to your mother?
Yes, and by the way, a lot of us Latinos that are watching can identify. I was the translator. I was the one who wrote checks in English. I read the mail. I used to call myself a notary, and I told my mom, if I ever want to be a businesswoman, I absolutely can. And I don't think I needed college, at that age, because since I was 8 years old, I was, the person who was helping translate everything and helping my mom build her credit and opening banking accounts. And, I almost feel like it was leading me to finance. But I feel that so many of us who are immigrants or first generation, we are the ones who really take on a burden, and it's kind of our story, and embrace that story because it really makes you an empathetic leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And to have so much responsibility at such an early age is no easy task. And it's truly inspiring to hear how you were able to take something that was so challenging. And for a lot of people, carry shame with something like that. And for you, you've been able to completely transform those experiences into helping others in what you do at Freddie Mac now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I speak Spanish. It was actually my first language. I teach financial literacy to my community in their language, and I make sure that I really represent them. Our countries of origin in Latin America, we don't understand credit. We don't understand the American banking system. We come, with hopes and dreams, and we need more advocates to teach financial literacy. And I feel that I connect with my community, and I share my story as I teach financial literacy. And I tell them, if you have, less than perfect credit, do not, feel ashamed of that. As a matter of fact, having credit makes you a champion. We don't need perfect credit to buy a home. And that is that, homeownership journey. If you're not ready now, we get you on the path to homeownership. And I think that's where Freddie Mac's mission aligns with my mission, providing access to credit to so many underrepresented communities is so important, but it's also just my passion. So when I see, my community show up for financial literacy events, and Hunter, let me tell you, I have presented all the way from Alaska at the University of Alaska at Anchorage. I had the biggest Latino community show up to a financial literacy event for me. The University of Texas, I presented there to an amazing graduating class. HCC junior colleges, Houston Community College, University of Florida. And I have to tell you, wherever we go as Latinos, as long as you represent your community well, you're embraced. And it's so amazing. But I feel, instead of them thanking me, I should thank them, because it takes courage to admit I need support, I need help. I would love to buy a home. As we know, rent prices now are equivalent to mortgage payments. And I've got to get as many Latinos into housing because that's my passion.
Yes, 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 yes. And I love hearing how speaking in Spanish so that, and like you said, coming into America, it's a very complicated system. This is not an intuitive process. There are so many nooks and crannies to finance. And the fact that you can meet people where they are and bridge that gap, I can't even imagine the experience for the people that you're working with.
I know. And, I have to say, my colleagues at Freddie Mac support me so much and champion me because they know I'm doing great work in the community. And then they know, I share with them the stories that I hear out in the field, across the entire country. And as we're putting amazing programs together at Freddie Mac, I tend to share that real life experience. And, I don't want to say I'm an anomaly at Freddie Mac because I have that journey. I tend to say I'm a champion for our community. And to me, it's really my life's work. And, if you were to ask me, what is something that you would love to see? Every Latino in housing. That's what I would love to see. It would make me just beam with joy. And, I think sometimes we're born for something. I think, my leadership journey, my passion is definitely supporting my community. Housing is something that's pivotal in our culture. It's what makes, what we call familia. It's what, the warmth of your family, of your parents, of your grandparents. It's always thinking of that home. And, I use that as a symbol as I go out and I support our industry, housing professionals, for them to better understand the challenges that Latinos are facing when it comes to, qualifying for a mortgage or, just the financial journey, gathering their documents. Sometimes they don't understand how many bank statements do you need? Why do you need them? Or why my pay stubs, or how long do I have to be on that job? And having an advocate that champions at a national platform, really helps our community better understand, someone cares, someone is, at Freddie Mac and they care. And let me tell you, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not an anomaly. I'm the norm. I just champion Latinos at Freddie Mac.
Yeah. And your North Star is so clear and it's shining bright.
Yes.
I love that. I love
I
that.
know. Along my career journey, I have to say I had to really find my true north. And, that's part of the journey. We get lost in so many different mentors that don't look like us. Imagine 25 years in the housing industry and finance. I have to tell you, for a very long time, especially when I was most younger and maybe vulnerable, I was impressionable, to make a really great name for myself. My mentors didn't look like me. I had an amazing mentor, God rest his soul, he has passed. And, this should tell you how old I am. He was smoking on the desk and he was like, Nora, you got to be a shark. And I remember thinking, I don't want to be a shark. I want to help my people, my community. And he was like,
right.
You got to go out and kill. And, I get it. That was the sales etiquette, the finance etiquette back then. Sure. And I have to tell you, I feel like, maybe 10 years into my career, I might have, I kind of didn't find my authentic self anymore. It was so many mentors that just gave me their, maybe what their journey looked like. And it just wasn't updated to where I was headed or what my real passion was. And, I really did a lot of self-work. Just, I have these amazing career goals. Like I've got to get a path to where I want to be. And I have to tell you, most of us who are at Freddie Mac usually say, if we were in housing and finance, the end goal is definitely to go and work in, for a government sponsored enterprise, which is Freddie Mac, and help work on policy, help, work with data analytics, economists. And that's really my job. And go on a national platform and educate housing industry professionals so that they can open the door to so many communities. I mentioned my Latino community, but we open doors for all first-time home buyers, existing buyers. We teach financial literacy to actual existing homeowners. Sometimes you forget the journey. How do I create sustainable homeownership? But finding my true north, as soon as I knew, I've got to share this story. So many people would say, why do you care so much? My gosh, it's just a job. But, can I tell you, when you know your life's passion and what your end goal is, it doesn't feel like a job ever. And I have to tell you, I work extremely hard, as do my colleagues. But it's so worth it to me. And I have an amazing husband and children who support this amazing career. And I feel like they're along for the journey. When my children saw that amazing video, my children were crying because that's their grandma and they didn't know, Mom, you lost your home. Is that why you work so hard? Is that why you always talk about Latinos in housing? And it is. And, I say that with so much pride. I really represent my community well. And, I represent my company as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful to hear about when your passion, your North Star, and your career align. And that's what you are
Yes.
doing in spades. And given we are in Hispanic Heritage Month right now, I would love to hear about your experience as a Latinx leader in the workplace.
I mean, let me tell you, I have been busy doing so many keynote presentations for Hispanic Heritage Month. I also chair Freddie Mac's OLA, which is their business resource group, which is sometimes also called an employee resource group. And let me tell you, it's with pride that I get to celebrate all these amazing Latin American countries, Freddie Mac and OLA. We had about 13 big events. I've been presenting Hispanic Heritage Month for a lot of our clients, which are big lenders, banks, banking institutions. And I have to tell you, I'm really appreciative that we have this month to be able to celebrate each other and these amazing cultures. We get to learn, we get to taste their food, we get to talk about,
Mhm.
their journey to America, if you will. I love hearing from, immigrants and their immigration story. I also love hearing, when a lot of us, talk about our career journeys with accents. I have to tell you, I came to America when I was a few months old. And my first language was always Spanish. And my mom thought it was so important that I go back to Mexico where I was born to read, to learn, to read, write, and learn how to speak it correctly. Now I
Mm.
hear these amazing journeys, and a lot of my colleagues have accents, acentos. And we always talk about as Latinos, what is that big, in our careers? Like sometimes we have these stalls. One of my colleagues recently told me, Nora, it's my acento. It's so thick. I'm like, it's so beautiful. I love it. I'm like, do not change it. I don't have an acento anymore. It's very Americanized. And I'm like, but I love it. I think it's so authentic. It's so you. Now, I have to tell you, my career journey looks so different, yet it doesn't. It was so many years of trying to assimilate, in the workforce. I had to change different aspects of me. Today, I don't. As you can
Mm.
see, I've got that red lipstick on like I did in that video. As a Latina, we love our hair pulled back. I love hoop earrings, for a very long time. I think I downplayed that. And it was just to kind of merge in, fit in. I wanted to be taken seriously. In finance, it's quite a different, career journey. It's very male driven. You don't really see women like me, in the C-suite. Freddie Mac was so amazing. They actually just participated. They sponsored a white paper from Coco, a think tank in Washington, D.C., and the title is called More Than a Monolith. And me and two Latina colleagues were part of that interview process. It was amazing. And in this research, we talked about our careers as Latinas. Like, what does it look like for us? And some of the key points that came out of this study is that less than 5% of Latinas are C-suite. Or senior leader and above. And you know what? I have to tell you, we have to change that. I'm here to change that. I'm here to disrupt that. But I have to thank Freddie Mac because they loved listening to us during this interview. They really disseminated that entire research. A lot of us Latinos, we tend to hide our passion. Our culture is a happy one. We love to smile. We love to, in business, this is us. We negotiate, very, very strongly. I would like to say, as you heard through my journey, I negotiated an exit strategy for my family and I was only 15 and I didn't even know finance jargon. It was, really, I have no idea, but that was some type of miracle.
Mhm.
But I have to tell you, a lot of Latinas out there, we assimilate, to be able to move to the next level. What I love is that social media is kind of changing that. I tend to follow a ton of social media accounts and, they make fun of that Latino or Latina that is assimilating. And we look at it as like, oh my gosh, why are they doing that? I have to tell you, as an authentic leader, yes, I was also part of that. Remember, I had to be a shark. I had to go out and kill. That really wasn't me. It wasn't. I'm really an empathetic leader, and I want to support my community. That was it. But yes, Hispanic Heritage Month has been amazing, and it showcases us in America. And I think we need to take advantage of us celebrating our culture, all the different Latin American countries, and talk about it more. Share it with your colleagues.
Yeah, I love that. And when you were talking about sharing food earlier, my mouth was literally watering because it's my favorite kinds of foods are all
mine too. I'm a foodie.
The best. I mean, I told you I'm from LA, so it's
yeah, that's right.
Me too. So as we are celebrating all different types of culture this month, it's not just one culture, right? And in this conversation, we've been using Latinx, but we've also been using other terminology as well. So you've said Latino, Latina, and within the Hispanic community, there is a lot of debate, conversation about these different terms, Latine. How do you navigate this terminology when you're interacting with colleagues, maybe with allies, maybe with clients? There's a lot of different roads to navigate with this terminology.
Hunter, I love the question. And let me tell you, most importantly, I think inclusivity is so important for our Latino, Latinx, sometimes even Hispanics. There's, some that identify as Hispanic. And for us to understand, that's how they identify, and that's okay. I will tell you, I remember being young and someone said, oh, she's a Latina. And I looked around and I thought they were talking about somebody else. I'd never heard my mom call me a Latina because I was a Mexicana, and I didn't understand what that meant. And that term was definitely used more in America than in Mexico. And then I said, let me research that. And I have to tell you, I identify as a Latina. I'm so proud to call myself a Latina. I have to tell you that. And hopefully you can hear that in me. But I love the millennials, the millennial Latinas who identify with Latinx. I love it. I think that's fantastic. Listen, not just in name, we come in different shades, in different sizes. We come from different backgrounds. I have a colleague who is Japanese and Latina, and her and I, we share so much of our culture together, and we identify as, both Latinas. And, I feel the name is important, and it's important for the individual. And I think us finding inclusivity in that is going to be so important for our culture. We have to support and be allies to each other. And then let's build allies outside of our Latino community, and let's share. Why do I call myself a Latina? And I always go back to that story. I said, I didn't know who they were talking about. Oh, I was the Latina, and I kind of embraced that. And, but if you feel Hispanic is also a name you should call yourself, or you identify, go for it. I mean, whatever makes you feel comfortable, but it also makes you feel seen and heard. I think that's super important. I will tell you, I love the word ally. I have so many amazing allies, especially at Freddie Mac. I really do. I have built this community, and I have allies that have supported me in my projects, in my research, sometimes in our OLA business resource group. I have folks who have learned more Spanish, who understand, about Peru, about Argentina, because I've recruited so much Freddie Mac Latino talent. And a lot of them they're white, non-minority. And they say, gosh, Nora, I didn't understand, the challenges for Latinos in America, but now I do, because you made us part of it. And I celebrate them as much as I celebrate the Latino community, because they are such a huge voice for us. And maybe you can do that at your company.
Yeah, I think it's good advice, and I hope everyone takes it. Are there other innovative practices or initiatives that Freddie Mac has implemented to support the Latinx community?
Well, I mentioned Freddie Mac sponsored this amazing report, and it was on the career experience. My team and I have presented it to our entire company. And I have to tell you, the feedback was so positive. Now, remember, a lot of these, the outcomes of that study they're a little sad in numbers. 40% of Latinas feel they have to change some type of aspect of themselves to be felt seen and heard. And 40% was such a huge number. It broke my heart. I talked about that so much during my presentation. And I said, what do we need to do so that we know we can be our true, authentic selves? And I have to tell you, this is who I am. Whether I'm speaking to an executive, a senior leader, our clients, the entire housing industry. And I feel that I have represented my community so well, but also and hopefully you guys agree, I come off as authentic because this is truly the story. But I also think, Freddie Mac does such a fantastic job of partnering with outside organizations to help us. One of two in particular that I'm so excited and proud to be an affiliate of is we recruit Latino talent through two organizations. One is Hispanic Scholarship Fund. We go and recruit young Latino talent to, bring them to Freddie Mac. And who are they? They're analysts, they're engineers, they're economists, they're, IT. We need more Latinos in IT, by the way. Please let me share that. And then we partner with the Hispanic Heritage Fund. And it's another location where we go and find Latino talent. Being chair of Freddie Mac, I had three main goals, and that was to attract Latino talent to Freddie Mac. It was to advance Latino talent at Freddie Mac, prepare them, get them certified. What more do we need to do to get promoted? And it's also to retain Latino talent at Freddie Mac. As Latinos, sometimes we feel we're underpaid. What does that look like? Do we need more negotiation courses? Do we need to be better advocates? There's so much that we can do. And I think Freddie Mac does a great job of giving us those resources. Now, I got to choose these amazing Latinas that just went through this amazing organizational, it's an outside company, and it's Hispanic Alliance for Career Advancement, or ACE. And what it is this think tank helps prepare women, Latinas, for advancement. And you guys, I got to hand select, I believe it was 30 women from Freddie Mac that are on that cusp of manager, about to be director. And they're in that journey that, maybe they just need a little bit more of presentation skills, something to get them to that next level. And I have to tell you, I've been an Elevate squad leader at Freddie Mac for the last 5 years. I mentor specifically 12 up and coming women leaders at Freddie Mac. And can I tell you, my calendar looks scary, but it's my passion. Now, with all that, I have to tell you, Freddie Mac recognizes Latino talent. Last year, I received 5 national housing awards, but the most important one to me was the Freddie Mac CEO Award. You guys, 4 Latinos received that award last year, and I was one of them. And I have to tell you, being recognized means you're seen, means you're heard, and your work, all that extra hard work that I did to kind of represent my community, was taken very seriously by my senior leaders. I'm the first person in the single family division to ever receive this award. So can I tell you, I am the first, I'm not the last. This year, the amazing candidates are all mostly from my division, and I get to help choose the next nominees. So I'm so proud of that. And that just shows, there needs to be recognition from a company. And I really felt that at Freddie Mac.
That's beautiful, to be seen. That's all we really want, right? As people, as human beings, to be seen and understood. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
We are sadly out of time. So I would love, as we wrap up here, is there any advice you'd like for people to take away if they're interested in joining Freddie Mac? And if they want to reach out to you, what is the best way to keep the conversation going?
Oh, yes, please. We need more Latino talent at Freddie Mac. I need more Latinas to come help me represent our community. Let me tell you, if you're interested in a job in housing, finance, IT, servicing, anything that has to do with company management, just think outside the box. Please definitely apply. You heard the website earlier, www.freddiemac.jobs.com. And find me on LinkedIn. That is the best way to get a hold of me. It's Nora _Guerra. at LinkedIn. Please reach out to me. I want to make sure that I was seen and heard.
Well, I imagine on your next flight, you're going to be flooded with friend requests or connects, I guess we say. I'm dating myself as a millennial there.
I love it.
Nora, thank you so much for making the time. This was absolutely wonderful.
Yes, thank you so very much. And Latinas, as we say in the Latino culture, sí se puede.